Hey guys, this is Ray, and I'm here with my buddy Paul. We are the No Color Thick Skin podcast. Thank you all for taking time out of your day to come here on this journey with us as we discuss a few things just as open and honest as we can. If you all could, if you're looking on YouTube, click the like and the share button, and if you could subscribe to our channel, we would greatly appreciate it. Also, we're on all social media platforms and all platforms in which you can listen to Spotify, and just if you could, follow us and comment, share, like, do all those things for us. We greatly appreciate it. Today we have a pretty in-depth and a nice topic that we want to talk about. But as we always do before we get started, we just always like to do a nice little check-in and just see, just check the temperature, just kind of see how things are going, and go from there. So, Paul, how's your week been, man?
Oh man, my week has been intense, to say the least.
Intense.
That's
a hell of a word, man. Why? What has been so intense about this week for you, man?
Oh, dude, it's just been back-to-back things, and nothing particularly like good or bad. Just I would say just a tidbit is, so I manage a store. We are having to raise prices because costs of goods and stuff like that. So it's been a long time coming. We've in particular when you're a business, you're always adjusting your costs and your margin, or not your margin, but your you see what you buy something for, and then you got to sell it for more than that, right? Well, that's a percentage. Most people use a percentage. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we've been using really low percentages on our cafe food for a long time, and for over a year, our costs, especially on potatoes and our sides, had gone up and things like that in our cafe. And so we needed to raise the price of the sides. And it's a little bit of figuring out things when you're dealing with, but trying to make sure that you're not pricing yourself out of the range of all of your existing customers and stuff like that. You don't want to go from selling people Honda Civics to selling Range Rovers. You've got a different market you're trying to appeal to. So, maybe there are some that could afford the higher prices, but there are others that won't be able to. And, it's just a give and a take. Who do you want as customers, and how do you figure out how to appeal to everybody and bring everybody in, as many people as you possibly can. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. And shout out to any of my customers, existing customers, people that come out and buy stuff from us. Thank you so much. This has just been a learning process, but that's that. And, the craziness that exists in my household. That's the intense stuff there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How about you,
man? Yeah. I'm there with you, man. So it's been a pretty hell of a week for myself as well. Mentally, physically, emotionally, it's been a lot. Been busy for sure at the JLB, and a lot's been going on there. Today, which is a wonderful thing. Today is my baby daughter. Today is her birthday.
Happy birthday!
So happy birthday, beautiful. That's
awesome.
Just love you to pieces. Silly girl. But Daddy loves you, sugar wugger, I promise you, and Dad's gonna always be here for you, whatever, no matter what. So just want you to know that. But yeah, it's my baby girl's birthday, and so I'm happy about that. But like I said, man, just the ebbs and flows just of life. The son, he had some allergy problems earlier this week, so he had to miss school. So had to get those under control again. But we finally got the sinuses together, and he's doing well. So they wrapped up their soccer season. They made it to the playoffs. Didn't win the championship, but still uber proud of them. So
he does soccer.
They play hard. Yeah, man. I try to make sure he's in a little bit of everything. So
that's awesome.
Basketball, soccer. We did a little football. He wants to try some baseball, and he's in the band. He's going to middle school next year, so he'll be in the band. Trumpet player. So
wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Pretty cool. So yeah, that's been my week, Paul. Just like I said, just ripping and running, and just real busy at the job, man. It was a hell of a week.
So we are going to finally learn what Ray does for a living soon, in an episode coming soon, very, very soon. Like literally the next one. The next one, guys.
Dang. You can put some sauce on it.
So just gonna just get a little, like the fancy chefs do, like
put a little something on it.
Thing right there.
Put a little something on it, just a little something extra on it. Yeah. We'll take a deep dive. We're gonna take a deep dive, man. We're gonna start from foundation, where it came from. The ups and downs. We're gonna talk about it all. We're gonna get into it all. So
I've got so many questions.
I can't wait to answer those questions for you, my man. I can't wait. So I'm all for it.
So today, there's a couple things. I don't want to end on this note, so we'll start with this. The Allen Outlet Mall shooting. That's pretty terrible. A guy named Mauricio Garcia. I guess he's kind of a security guard of some sort for a couple of different places.
Yeah.
Maybe he was kicked out of the military or something like that. That's something that I heard.
Possibly.
Anyway, deranged gentleman decided to open fire on people at an outlet mall here in Dallas. It's just outside of Dallas in a city called Allen. And if you ever go to an outlet mall around here, it's basically a bunch of shops stuck together, and you walk around outside going in between them. They've got kind of like if you're familiar with Tanger outlets or something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They have like a Reebok store. They got a Lacoste store. They got all different
Nike
kinds
stores.
of Nike.
And the Allen, they have some pretty higher end places as well. So and they always have sales. So that outlet mall attracts a lot of people. Not just people of Allen and people that live there, but people all over, man, go to that outlet mall and shop there. So it's always busy, always packed, just people there.
Have you been there?
Yes, quite a few times, man. That's why this is
I don't think I've ever been there before.
Man, it's amazing. Like, the layout, and like I said, all of the higher end stores, they usually have a sale or something going on, so you're getting great product for a nice price. So like I said, that's why I believe that so many people go out there and shop there. So
that's pretty terrible.
Yeah. It was.
So this is, I think we're done counting exactly how many had passed and whatnot, but I think it was 4 that had passed. Let me just double check here.
I think it's a little more than that.
It might have been 8.
Yeah, I'm thinking
any amount of lives gone is
one
bad enough,
too many, man. And
9 victims. I'm not sure if all of them had passed. Okay, so 8 victims killed and 7 injured.
Yeah.
That's 6 days ago. So that's just terrible. And a lot of them were, I'm not sure that this really matters. It might have just been the people that were there, but a lot of them were people that looked like they weren't white. And I'm not gonna bandwagon on the whole. This guy was a white supremacist because he's not white. But not that anything. But if you're a deranged person, it doesn't matter what color you are. You're gonna go do deranged things.
For sure.
I mean, it's just terrible. And all I want to say about it is that our hearts go out to the people that were affected by that. And that could have been any one of us out there shopping. And we will have an episode over gun stuff. But in the meantime, I'll just throw this out there that I do not believe that making it more difficult for safe people that are doing the right thing to carry guns. I do believe that we have a crisis of the mental health variety in our country, and we need to address that. Because regardless of how many laws you make, the people that break those laws don't care.
For sure.
So it's illegal to murder somebody. That's just plain and simple. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, it is.
So.
And people who may not see things the way that Paul shared just a moment ago, don't come for him. Like, please don't, because that's not what this is about. It sucks that we can't find a happy medium with so many intelligent people that we have in this country. And I'm not just talking about politicians. I have my thoughts and my feelings about some politicians, and those are what they are. But there are just so many smart people and educated people and people who I feel can assist in trying to figure out just what could be a medium ground or a happy place to where we can figure this thing out, because it's sad, it's tragic, and it really did a number on me. And because it's like you go into a public place with your children to, you're buying your kids some clothes. Your kids, wanted some ice cream at the food court, and you go on over there to do that, and your lives are taken away. And let's if the people who even witnessed those things, there were children that were there who saw people get killed in front of them. That's never going to leave them. Mm-hmm. That's terrible. That is terrible. And like Paul said, our heart goes out to them. But like we always say, like there's no putting the toothpaste back in in the holder.
The bell's been rung.
It's like there's you can't do that. So we can't just say, hey, everybody give up your guns, or hey, everybody do X, Y, or Z. But how can we come together to try to figure out a way to make this better, make it to where these things aren't happening? And like we said, mental health, or trying to help people. I'm more of like I said, I'm a solutions based guy, so I always like to try to think about solutions. And I know for sure that just the world that we live in, when people don't have a purpose, when they don't feel like they have a purpose, they get lost. And I think we have to talk to our younger kids and talk to middle-aged people and try to assist them in finding some sort of a purpose. And that purpose usually drives people to do good things, and they have something to look forward to. So
purpose,
having some type of a purpose, man, is something that I think can go a long way with the mental health and other things that could possibly happen as well.
And not that I would say that everybody could do something like that. I firmly believe that every human is capable of some kind of bad deed, but that is a whole nother level of evil. And I believe that. Not everybody does. Not everybody believes in evil. But if somebody asked me, hey, how do you believe that evil exists? That's how. that is the definition in my brain of somebody that commits an evil act. And bad, evil, whatever you want to attribute to that, 100%, I believe that there is, that's just, wow. But anyways, that's all we can say, really about it, is that our hearts go out to you, and our thoughts and prayers and all Absolutely. That. And also, hopefully as a country, and maybe even us as individuals, can bring some action into a solution to that. Like, reach out to your brothers, man. That guy that desperately needed a friend and you were too busy, reach out to him. Like, cut some time out of your schedule, Mm-hmm. Just give people some love. Yeah. That's all I could.
That helps.
That
helps, man. That does help. That friend that you haven't spoken to, who's posting some things that are going into left field, and you're just like, well, what's going on with this guy, man? Reach out to him, talk to him, see what's on his mind. See if you and a few other friends can band together and assist that person, bring them up, uplift them, and see if you can help them.
For real.
Yeah, it's because a lot of times we see these things and we'll see that family members will be like, oh, well, he or she or whoever, whatever you want to identify that person as, no disrespect, but whoever was posting things, for a couple of months, and they weren't acting themselves, and they were doing this and doing that. And it's like, well, if we saw these red flags, then, why weren't we looking to try to, take some of these red flags down, try to, insert ourselves into trying to help that person. We just let those things happen. So if you see the red flags, man, just, don't be disrespectful or anything, but see if you can be of assistance. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On a higher note, we have Mother's Day coming up. Ooh. So just a reminder for all you forgetful dudes out there and forgetful people.
I am the worst.
Dudes tend to forget about these type of things.
Hey, man, this is 2023. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't categorize me. Okay. Right? Don't box me.
You others out there, think about it.
Hey, don't box me in your fake boxes that you
Lord
that you built.
The 14th. If anybody's wondering, it's the 14th. 14th of May. Coming up. Yeah. Anyhow, so today we've got some juicy bits for our wonderful listeners, for all of y'all. So we're going to be talking about episode 7, the Christian Church.
Oh, 7 heaven, 7 to heaven. Oh, yeah. Wow.
So we are we have a little bit to say about this. I feel like we've come prepared with some ball to play some ball, and. So one of the things that I really want to make sure of that we discuss here is kind of the role that the Christian church plays in today's society, especially here in the U.S. No, I'm not a theologian, or I'm not a theology major. I don't have any professional certificates or degrees or anything like that. But
Dr. Paul,
similar to Ray, I have kind of grown up in the church, and that's a very southern thing to happen.
Yes.
There are many different types and flavors and whatnot of Christian.
So many.
But most of us read the same Bible. And we're going to talk about it. Yeah. So my particular flavor of Christian is Southern Baptist, and or non-denominational, some call it, which sounds bizarre, but we just believe what's in the Bible, and we've got some ideas about it. So one thing I really want to make sure of is that we establish kind of what the role is that I believe the role of the church is today in today's society. Mm-hmm. What would you like to talk about today? Anything in particular?
You know me, Paul. I love a little bit of history and a little bit of backstory.
Yeah.
I really like to set some sort of a foundation when it comes to having the topics that we talk about. Because as I research the things that we'll throw a few things out, and I'll do a little research and just remind myself of a few things and just try to, like I said, be as open and honest as I can. But my thing is, for me, as we said, we both grew up in the church, both Christians, and I feel that some of the Christians that I, grew up around, like, we just really didn't know as much as I think we should have known, and that's tough when you start to get older and you start to read certain parts of the Bible and you start to go to school with people who do not go to the same church that you go to, who do not worship the same way that you worship, who are in another religion. So you start to broaden your horizons and you start to understand people and understand and question things, and that's tough sometimes. But so with me, I wanted to take it all the way back to we talk about Christianity, but it's like, what is Christianity? Like, what is it at its base? And it's part of the Abrahamic religious. So it's a religion of Abraham, pretty much at its core. And there are three religions of Abraham that came from Abraham, or that Abraham had his hands on, and that's Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. Like, there's just so much, and it's over my head. Like Paul said, we're not this not Pastor Pine. I'm not that guy. I can't recite the Bible word for word. I can give you maybe 2 or 3 verses here or there, and that's about it. But having to understand that Christianity and understanding the Old Testament and the New Testament and all those different things, it can be daunting, man. It trying to understand what the terminology and the meaning and all of those things. And as you said, you throw out non-denominational, and I see that with a lot of non-denominational churches now. I feel that they're a little more lax and a little more open to, hey, man, we're not here to judge. We're not trying to be like, Baptists or the Catholics or Protestants or the Methodists. Like, we're non-denominational. We follow the Bible. We read the Bible, but we're not just going to be stickler to this. And I think that's why a lot of people in our age group kind of go towards that way, because it's like you're not being told that you're bad for not doing X, Y, or Z. Mm-hmm. If that kind of and I just feel like it's just more open with the non-denominational churches from what I see. I
got something to say on that. So just briefly, Christians back when Christ was around, or I guess around when Christ was around till after, Christian was like a derogatory term for people that followed Christ. It was actually kind of a bad thing, because even at the time, just like there is today, there's Jews exist and Christians exist, and as maybe some of you guys know, Jesus was technically a Jew. Yeah. And he believed in the Jewish faith and the Jewish God, and read the Torah, and that's how he was raised. And throughout his life, he kept all of the tenets in the Torah. So, but if you were labeled a Christian back in the day, people were kind of like, "Oh, you're a Christian. You follow Jesus Christ from Nazareth. You know, but just like any good, strong people, you use that word that somebody else uses as a, derogatory term. And you're like, that's my word.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that ER.
So hard R.
Ooh, not that hard R, man. You got to play that hard R, man. Woo.
Yeah. But also, as far as the Abrahamic religions go, and this is just going off the top of my head, I'm not looking at something going through this, but as there's, I'm sure that you go through this, but Abraham was a person, and it's very well documented that he was a person, and that a lineage came from him, and also because of that, a belief system, and one of those was Judaism, and one of those offshoots of Judaism was Christianity. And from Judaism / Christianity came the Islam faith. I'm not sure what the third one is, but
no. So that's it. So Jewish, Christianity, and Judaism, Christianity, and
okay.
Islam.
So that does count as one of them.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, they separated the Judaism and Christianity, even though they came off of each other. But and like I said, Abraham. Oh, I think he had like 8 sons. I think Abraham. He had a couple of boys out there, so he was wild out there. Like yeah, he was wild in them streets, or on them dirt roads or whatever.
So that was something that's in the Torah or in the Old Testament of the Christian Bible, is that Abraham was blessed to inherit this promised land, and he did, and he had many sons, and that's if you grew up in the Christian church, you learn this song. It's like, Father Abraham had many sons, many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So it's just kind of talking about the lineage, which is kind of funny because not all of us are Jewish, but we're all in the same family from because anyway, we'll get into it. But,
for sure. Yeah. That's it, man. And and that's something that, like I said, growing up, that wasn't at the forefront of the Bible study and the midweek services, or even the sermons, speaking that Jesus was Jewish. Like I didn't know that until I was an adult. Like I was
really.
I'm serious. That's why I honestly feel like that's why a lot of people now are just so confused and just. And I guess you can say you have to have some accountability with that, especially if you're an adult, because the Bible is the Bible. You can pick up the Bible, you can read it, you can. There are millions of books of study guides and things that you can get your hands on to grasp and get a better knowledge of that. But when you have these certain pastors who are very, very good with them words. They be bringing them words with them, and they can sell you a nice dream, or make you feel real good, and you feel like you got it all from that word, and that's all you need. And it's like, no, you really actually have to study this, just like you study your calculus or your microbiology or whatever. You have to study it.
Yeah. So. I feel like there's a lot there. There's a lot there. So I want to say there's just so many people out in the world that have different ways of interpreting something that I'm saying, right?
Yes.
And in the same way, there are different ways that you can read something and interpret it a certain way, right? So I believe that that's part of the reason why there are so many different denominations of Christianity. I keep messing with my mic. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get it out of my view, but also stay up tight on the microphone. It drives some of y'all nuts, and I'm sorry about that. But here, I'll just tell you what I believe. And I know that you're kind of figuring things out and seeing what you think and stuff like that, and you go more into that. I, on the other hand, I know what I believe, and that is what I believe.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean that in how I understand that might change over time and might develop and might, kind of blossom into, a better understanding and better whatever, and it has. But when I grew up, basically, I'll keep this short. So
hey, spit, man.
When I was a kid,
Cook, Paul.
Hey,
Cook.
man, when I was a kid, I was growing up doing all kinds of stuff. That didn't rhyme. No. So I grew up in Sacramento, California. What? So no color, thick skin. Okay. So, I don't know. So embarrassing. No, I grew up in California, of all places, when I was very young. But my grandparents were both from kind of southerly upbringings. My grandpa grew up in actually northern Texas, and my grandma grew up in Utah, which is known to be kind of a Mormon country, and Mormon towns out there, lots of big community out there. And anyways, so from the age that from basically growing up, I was going to church, whether I knew it or not.
Yeah.
And that's where all of my friends were. That's just kind of what I was around. I was listening to, a boiled down version as a kid of, who Jesus was, and that all of us are equally loved, and those kind of messages, those kinds of
Jesus loves the little
children, all the children of the world. So
we're not gonna do the colors.
There's all that. That's the one too.
They'll counsel us.
No. We could do the colors. No, we don't do colors here. No, no color, thick skin.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So, and maybe, I don't know, the kind of upbringing that I had, and this kind of goes into one of those first one or two episodes where I just was like, you were telling me I was, kind of looking at life like kind of like a childlike perspective, where everybody is just a person, and everybody looks different, but that's just how they look, and it's cool, and it's a characteristic of them. It's not a flaw or a subtype or like a, it's just you,
less than, or there's a hierarchy of how one should or shouldn't be. Yeah.
I bring that up because in all the churches that I've gone to ever, we just had all the different people kind of represented. And later on in life, which is interesting, I saw there's actually kind of a huge community of Christian Chinese people.
Oh, yeah.
And Korean, like they got Christian Korean churches and Christian Chinese and all different, and even locally here, like it's pretty interesting and very cool.
And I work with them quite often. We won't just as a little nugget.
Oh my goodness, that's so cool.
As a little nugget, I work with them quite often. Yeah,
that is super interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, growing up, I grew up in the church. The messages that I was hearing, it was, stuff. Like I said, it's kind of boiled down, version of a kid when I'm going to Sunday school as a kid. Kids go to Sunday school and the adults go to like a main worship hall or something like that, where they hear, an adult preacher talking about, what a message, some kind of sermon that the pastor is given, his congregation or the audience of people
in that area. Yeah.
And anyway, without going too far into it, because I'm sure that most of you guys know what this is and that kind of thing. The churches that I've gone to would probably identify as Southern Baptists. A lot of them were part of the Southern Baptist. There's like a group conglomeration, I guess, of I think it's called like the Southern Baptist. I don't know. It's like a community of churches that kind of say, this is what we believe in. You have to do this to do this. This is, we believe in getting baptized, and we believe that you have to make the decision to do that. And we believe that, if you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, and if you accept the free gift of forgiveness, that you are, a Christian. Yeah. That's what it takes, and whatever. So, anyways, those are the types of churches that I've gone to, and as I grew up, we went to technically Baptist churches all the way to like not, as I got older and moved out of my parents' house, we went to more non-denominational churches. I did. And my wife and I have, and there is actually you could probably call it its own denomination, which is non-denominational.
Yeah, for sure.
But all the places that we've gone to would probably just be called like Bible-believing churches. The last church I went to, the one previous to the one I currently go to, had a saying that we are Jesus-filled, Spirit-driven, and or what is it? It's like the three pillars of the church. It's Jesus-focused, Spirit-filled, life-giving, and it's basically just kind of like I'll give you a chance to talk, but cool. It's just basically like it's basically you become a Christian by believing that, okay, so everybody is imperfect. Everybody has what the Bible calls sin in their life, or something that separates them from the perfectness of the Creator, God, right? And we call him God, right? And in order to, some people would say, go to heaven or whatever,
enter into the gates.
Yeah, enter into the gates to have everlasting life with God, to be able to be with God again once you die. You have to accept the free gift of forgiveness. And throughout the Bible, it talks about how throughout the earlier parts of the New Testament of the Christian Bible, it talks about how Jesus lived, and in his 30s he went on basically his process of finding his 12 disciples to go out and teach the world about him, that the Messiah has come. And spoiler alert, if you go and read, you'll see it's pretty clear. And to become the type of Christian that I am, whatever that means, it's just, in my head, it just means to be a Christian, but you have to, Jesus died on the cross. He lived a sinless life and died on a cross willingly for us, like all of humanity, to be reunited with God again. And all we have to do to be reunited with God again, or go to heaven, or whatever you want to say, is to accept that free gift of forgiveness. You have to accept, and some churches will say you have to accept Christ into your heart, or things like that. But ultimately, what I believe that they're saying is that you're accepting that free gift of grace or forgiveness.
So explain that accepting. That acceptance to get into heaven, as you say, because you hear some pastors say confess with your heart and with your tongue your sins, and
it's very
get baptized, and then you gotta say that Jesus is the only dude and he the only one that you ever gonna talk to, and this is that. So for you, for right. What you said. What does that mean to you to say, hey, this is what it means to go to enter into the gates to go to heaven, accept that forgiveness. What does that mean to you?
So so there's lots of, this is part of the Baptist theology, is that, and different Baptist churches believe it differently, right? But
that gives me a headache, Paul.
I know.
I'm
there with you.
You know, I'm keeping it a buck.
So in the Bible, Jesus was baptized, and he was already the Messiah. He was already the person that was chosen to die on a cross for our sins and all this stuff. But in a show of being washed clean, which is kind of what it's like a pronouncement of your faith, basically, is being baptized. So John the Baptist baptized Jesus in water, and basically dunking a person underwater and bringing them back up. It's a show of his faith, of his faith, and that's kind of what a lot of that is what Baptists believe, is that you are supposed to get baptized, or it's just like the next step. It's like, okay, you've accepted, God's forgiveness. Now you go get baptized to show your community or your church or whoever you want to know that you believe this.
It's about that life.
Yeah. And it's a show of faith, is what I believe and what a lot of people believe. And there are a lot of I know. I only know this because I have friends that are very into this, but like the Episcopal Church, and maybe that's something that you have to speak on. I don't know. Did you grow up? No? Okay.
No.
Okay.
I've just worked with them.
Okay. So we haven't even really talked about this, guys. We haven't gotten into specifics. So I grew up Baptist, like I said, and kind of I do believe that's what I still am. It's just, I just read what's in the Bible, and that's how I do it.
Yeah. I think it's just semantics.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day.
It really gets into a lot of semantics, but I do believe that the one very crucial part of becoming a Christian is accepting the free gift of forgiveness. And really what that means is like saying, just surrendering and being like, Jesus, forgive me for my sins. And that's it. That's how you become a Christian. That's what I believe.
That's what you believe.
And
okay.
and if I want everybody to know that, then I go get baptized, which I have done, and I did do when I was a really young kid. And there's some nuance, some interesting things about that, like getting baptized and becoming a Christian so young that you don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's a lot of, there's a few verses in the Bible that talk about having the faith of a child. And I believe that it's talking about having the sincerity of a child. Like, I don't need to know everything about this. I do know what I need to know right now, which is that I'm forgiven. I'm fully forgiven. And I want to walk in the shoes of Christ. I want to get to know God better. I want to read the Bible and get to know that better, and how to become a better Christian. And like we said, being a Christian is being like Christ, being a follower of Christ.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And like I said, those are some of the things that I think when we speak about just religion in general, but since we are Christians, and that's what we grew up in, the Christian church, we reference the Bible, and for me, I know it's frowned upon to say, hey, it looks like there may be some inconsistencies here. I think that this may look a certain way, or this may be a certain way. And I've had this conversation with people, like I said, who are a lot smarter than I am, and who know the Bible in and out, and they really give me a hard time when I say, the word inconsistencies. And
I'm really sorry about that.
For the inconsistencies, and so I wish that we could have those who are entrenched in the Bible talk about some of those things, because I know at some point in time I was hearing from a lot of people that, okay, so once Jesus died for our sins, we only it's New Testament on. New Testament on. That's what we're supposed to follow. Like the Old Testament is the law or this, but you look at the New Testament. Well, if that's the case, then why do we still have the Old Testament, or why is that still something that that we reference, that the pastors still preach from? So that's something, like I said, that I'm not trying to be the guy to point fingers or do things like that, but I know sometimes that gets some of the hardcore religious people together. So I know for sure also something that that I think about a lot is when it comes to worship, and when it comes to your faith. Like I'm very big on faith. My grandfather always referenced to myself, my mom, and my sister, just to have faith size of a mustard seed. If you have faith size of a mustard seed, you put the work in, and you believe that God is going to help you, then you'll get through. So
why is it that there's a fly trying to get to us like crazy when we're talking about this? I'm so sorry, dude.
He is mad. That fly is mad, but
he doesn't like it.
No, he doesn't like it. But so with worship, I want to get your feelings, because like we said, with Christianity there are so many different levels, and I did not know this until man, I can't believe I'm saying this. With my work, I was working with the Church of Jesus Christ, and the Church of Jesus Christ
of Latter-day Saints.
They're not of the. I think it's just the Church of God. Is it? They're not about that music. They're not about that music.
Oh, yeah.
It's no music. All right. So, I'm there, and I'm hearing, people singing, and I'm like, what are keys? Ain't nobody playing no keys. They got no organ. Where's the organ? The keyboard player not come through. Y'all don't have no drums. So I asked one of the guys. I asked someone, because I was about to slip up. So I asked someone, I said, hey, was it too late of a notice to get the music team? Come on, man, don't do this to me, man. I'm being vulnerable right now. Don't be disrespectful. No, I'm not. No. I know you are. No, you're making fun of me. I was like, hey, so could the music team not get called in, or is this something that happens just during the week when y'all can't get anyone to play? And they were like, no, we don't play music. And I was like, what do you mean? And they reference one of the verses in the Bible. It says something along the lines that God didn't tell us that we could play instruments. And I'm like, what are you even saying right now? I know Paul is heavy into music. Paul is very musical, and I love it. And music was huge in my life with my family. My grandfather, man, he'll get on a Hammond organ, a Hammond B3 organ. And hey man, they just legends. Hey man, legends will say Roosevelt up there making that thing talk. Dang. He can make that thing talk. So I know how the power of music, while you're in church and while you're worshiping, how that can have an effect on.
Didn't get it.
How that can have an effect on the worship itself. Mm-hmm. But there's a subset of individuals that are a part of the same Christian faith that say no to the music, and mm-hmm. It's like, so it's like I said, it's there. I guess we say it's semantics, but that was something that threw me off. And like I said, I didn't learn that until I was an adult. And that's I couldn't believe it when they broke it down to me, man. Could not believe it. But like I said, that's just another one of those subsets, another one of those things where it's like, well, why is it okay for here, but it's not okay over here? And how far does that supposed to go? You know, how far does it supposed to go?
I don't know. There's a bunch of different. As far as worship goes, I think that what the Bible says about it is to make a joyful noise. And some denominations believe that you can only do that through a cappella music, like singing. And some believe that it can happen in a very like classical, like contemporary type of music that's not kind of sexy, or kind of like not sexy, but kind of sexy, or like attractive, like not overly attractive, not overly, angry, not overly, but what I think is like
sticking to the straight chord structure of we're not putting no fancy,
no minor chords,
no
dissonant things,
baby,
no
minor
like
sevens,
syncopated beats,
no, slow it down,
no rhythm whatsoever,
no passing
some of them
chords, you ain't doing no runs.
You know what? There's all different kinds of flavors. I would just encourage you to go find your flavor.
Find your flavor
because it's good stuff. But so worship wise, I feel like whatever, in my view, whatever puts the listener, music is a story. Music is a story, and an expression. And I believe it can sound all different kinds of ways. I've heard Christian music sing in Thai. I've heard Christian music sing in, all different kinds of African languages, and all different kinds of, languages that sound very different from English. And you know what? It sounds kind of weird to my ear, but to them, they're like into it, Yeah. And basically in my view, what all that worship is giving people an opportunity to show thankfulness and their passion, maybe even their brokenness, their happiness, their all of that to the God that they're serving, to God. Yeah. And that's in my view, that is just such a beautiful thing, and it sounds so different. There's so many different kinds. You got your popular stuff, but you also got these other things that are really cool, and you got people. The things that they're singing about. Some people like the very simple, like, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. And that's just in the Baptist church we have hymnals.
Yes, sir.
And it's basically like, some of them are very old, Christian worship songs. And it's basically like a story straight out of the Bible. And some people kind of frown on some of the new music that comes out that's talking about everyday life of a person today. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I mean, that's valid too, Big like time. There's a place for everybody there. I think if there's anything that I've learned over my Christian journey, my journey of being a Christian, calling myself a Christian especially, is that there's all different flavors of people, all different flavors of this and that and the other, people's interests. Some people don't want to learn any more than I'm forgiven and now I can go tell other people about it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Some people want more to chew on, like myself. Yeah. Like when I was a kid, I was like, why am I learning about dinosaurs, but in the Bible, there's nothing about dinosaurs? And so that sent me on a journey, and, I had to go find all different kinds of people, and it's been, an experience. And honestly, over the years, it's really just kind of deepened my faith into, especially going in the science route, like talking or listening to people that are much smarter than me in that front, about these subjects. And what I've found and is that the more scientific you get with looking at things in the Bible, the more it's proven right. And that's just my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely think that's true. And there's a lot of even though scientists out there, particularly like Bill Nye the Science Guy, he does not believe that the Bible is at all accurate, or even scientifically close to being, true or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which I get. There's a lot of scientists out there that need to prove that there's a God before there is a God.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But it is a faith. It's a, I hate using the name religion because, yeah, there is a religious aspect to it for sure, obviously.
Yeah.
But in my view, it's more of a faith.
Yeah.
And in that way, it's less needing to be scientific and more, believing and